Live from Detroit, Michigan.
The In My House Techno Music Show, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played. Coming to you straight out of Detroit, the birthplace of techno music. Coming to you each and every week online via our website, as well as our podcast. Follow us on social media and keep up with us with the music alerts. This is T. Carlita for the In My House Techno Music Show. T. Carlita for the In My House Techno Music Show. So happy to be here again, bringing you some more true stories, always bringing great music. And it's always exciting to catch up with old friends, old brothers, old mates, my buddy, my pal, Mourad, Tunis Diaspora, 216. What up, though?
Yeah, I'm okay.
You represent for the bros today.
Yeah, I'm representing Tunis Diaspora today, yeah.
Good job. So long time no see. We all survived COVID and still on this side of the universe, and God bless us all, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It has been a rough ride, I'd say, but here we are.
Here we are, that's right. So let's talk about, so it's been a while since I remember, and I appreciate you guys coming through for me back in the day. You guys played at my party, which was so much fun. Man, that was an experience, you know. I really appreciate that. So what's happening? What's going on? What's new? What's up? What you up to, man?
Oh, well... Where should we start?
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, but back to the music.
Absolutely.
After a forced stop, I'd say.
Yep.
Going back wasn't easy.
Okay.
Wasn't easy, but. Came back and started making music again and having releases out and can say back to business again.
Mm-hmm.
So though everything feels different, at least for me, my brothers, it's the same as well. We needed time to go through time. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's
you know, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because I mean, in our lifetime, never did we know that the entire world would come to an end, a stop. And then on top of that, our personal things that happen in the midst of all of that. And then it's like coming out of it, finding your way back. But we're still not all the way out of this pandemic situation. But what are, talking from experience, what are some of the ways that you found your way back to the music?
Okay. Once upon a time, I was an MPC user.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you transition, you go into this, you go into that. And then after my son passed away, and the thing is that the last thing we were doing together when I saw him for the last time, it was in the studio working on a remix he did for me. Unfortunately, that was his first and last. After that, the studio became really heavy to sit in there, heavy to start those machines, heavy to just sit down and think about something else.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever that thing is, in that case, it's music. So it's a combination of things all together that made the studio completely a place to avoid. You know, after 2 years, I really started to like you. I felt I want to do music, but I couldn't sit down in that corner, in that place. It wasn't possible. So, weighing the situation, and in the end, I came to the conclusion, okay, I probably need something that I can use to make music, yet don't need to sit in that corner. So, back to the MPC. And that got me out to make music. I remember the first mix I did after Elias passed away was for Cisco Ferreira's club night on internet club thing. Bill and Tom, for instance, they have been doing a lot on that. A lot of the Detroit boys were doing it. Thomas and I was in one of those first ones, and when that order came in, it was, yeah, I want to do it, but I felt that okay, Mourad, now you need to really force yourself into, you have to do this. And through fixing the set, recording the set, I couldn't stop crying. I had to force myself to do that because I needed to do that. And once it was done, you sit down and, of course, you deal with a lot of emotions. And then I also remember during that time we had a hiatus with Deep Space as well. And when that mix was done, I called my brother and said, okay, I did this. This is how it is. We have to go back and do this. Do you feel like doing it? We try. And then we came back again. So it's a process. Once the music started getting released, of course, there is a little satisfaction in there. But at the same time, it hurts. I used to share all these things with my boy. Okay, there is a new release here, there is a new release there, and we talk about that. And then all of a sudden, you don't have that.
Right.
Welcome, Judge Mathis. Thanks for coming to share an important message with the Wayne County taxpayers.
Well, thank you for allowing me to help. You know, most of my life I was a resident of Wayne County, and so I'm here to help because Treasurer Shabri wants to work with owners to keep families in their homes and prevent foreclosure.
If you're having trouble making your property tax payments, let us know. We have many resources to help.
Already in a payment plan? It's important you stay in good standing.
Making property tax payments is now easier than ever. We have placed payment kiosks in community centers across the county. We've also added kiosks in our offices. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com.
And remember, stay safe, save time, make your appointments and payments online.
In My House Radio, online 24/7. Featuring only the best techno and house music. And be sure to tune in for Sunday Inspiration, every Sunday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Get connected, www.inmyhouse65.com.
You are In My House, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.
Let's backtrack for a second because we jumped right into the discussion. So let me explain to everyone who's listening and watching. Mourad and I met back in Detroit when I used to do parties during my 2 turntables and a mixer. And him and his brothers, they performed, which was great. So I just want to give you a backstory before we get to this part, before we get to the next part, so that you understand what we're talking about. So Mourad, happy, joyful, the whole everything, making music, doing all things. Then all of a sudden, he loses his son. So what we're talking about right now, so that you'll understand, he's trying to help you understand when stuff happens, you still have to find a way to move forward. And that's what he's explaining right now.
And it wasn't
it's
only
not
that.
easy.
It
And you
wasn't
lost
only
your
that.
dad too.
Right after, like a few
Exactly.
months after. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's something about the music, which is medicine and which is therapy. And no matter how many years that he's been doing this, he just couldn't do it. And what he's letting you know is the message really here is figure out how to find your way in this newness, this new life, because it'll never be the same. Just like you said, like you're saying, when you put something together, you produce something, you send it to your son, and you and your son, you talk about it and you discuss it. Now you don't have that. So do I not go on living, or do I just stay in this thing? And I'm grateful that you found your way to even be here to talk to me about this, because I know me and you, we've talked. You know, I lost my grandson at the same time you lost your son. So we both know something that close to you is hard. And I'm grateful that you and I had each other, even in a virtual space, to send those happy faces to each other. And hey, how you doing? Keep it going. You know, that's the beautiful part about connections and relationships and meeting people. You know, don't take people for don't underestimate when you might need that person. You know, we met in a one time. We only met once. But that once, so many years ago, little did we know 4 or 5 years later that we would depend on each other. And that's the beauty in this culture. You know, a lot of people always talk about, oh, this and that, about this and that in the culture. But trust me, there are some very good, solid bonds that are formed through what we do. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm grateful. You know, we're always going to keep in touch. And that's what we want you all to know out there. When life shows up, what are you going to do? You know, and it's a process. And I know it's still a process for you to this day, to right now in this moment.
And it's gonna be a process for the rest of my life.
For the rest of your life, exactly. Yeah. Now let's come out of that. Let's get out of that. Let's get out that dark space and let's get happy. Right?
No, it's not. It's not. I don't consider it being a dark place or a dark space.
Okay.
It is life.
It is life. Thank you.
It is life.
It is life.
So, dark or not dark, it is life, and we have things that we have to experience during that life, and we have to find the resources to keep going, walking. So I mean, yeah, it's heavy on my shoulders, and I'm not the only parent that lost a child.
Exactly.
So there will be after me and before me, and we keep going. We are now part of a special club.
Yep.
You know, and that's it.
That's it.
And we have to keep going.
So how's Nabil and Dali? How are they doing?
Oh, they are doing well. They also had they were close to Elias, and it was a shock.
Yeah, for sure.
It was very sudden, and slowly, you know, they came back, you know, and that's the important thing. But we have been always very, very tight, very close. And I mean, we talk to each other nearly every day, even though we are in different countries. But that's how we are. If I don't talk to my brothers, something is missing.
Correct.
I can't. I need to do that, and that's how we function.
So now, do you feel like? I mean, this whole interview, this whole conversation with you is, I didn't expect this to be. I was like, how you doing? What's your inspirations? Who inspired you? Like, this is so different, but it's real. And I love that you are open and transparent, and who knows, the information that you're sharing today might really help someone else. You know what I mean? That's the whole point of sharing these stories, because you never know who's going through what, right? And just a little bit might just be the one to get them out of wherever they are, right?
Yeah.
The special club. We're not alone. It's a whole bunch of us, and a whole bunch more are gonna join this club, right?
Yeah.
But so I'm glad that you and your brothers are good. I know you guys have always been close. That is a no-brainer. But because of what you experienced, do you feel like your passion for music, now that you are doing it again, do you look at creating differently than you did before, or how's the transition from before your son to now?
That's very interesting. The difference is very subtle, I have to say.
Okay.
I always made music because I felt I wanted to do music. And the process never been nothing was there to dictate what I should do. I made music. I like it, I don't like it, people like it, people don't like it. That's another story. But it's something I feel, and I do it. And I never really been the guy who trying to make the music creation an intellectual matter. Okay, it's music. It's coming from a place within me, and it's coming out. And like everything in life, you like, you don't like, or you are totally neutral about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it is. Therefore, for me, it's not about what people think about it. It's for me, it's just an outlet.
Mm-hmm.
Some people go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I always say music is an art,
Yeah.
is a matter of taste. I always say some people like blondes, some people like redheads,
Mm-hmm.
some people like pasta, other people like pizza. Nobody is right and nobody is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of taste.
That's why it's so many different types of music out here for you to what do you want to listen to, right?
Do your thing.
Do your thing.
So,
That's right.
but now, at one moment, it became a matter of survival. Actually, it
Okay.
became something that could bring me back to a pseudo normality, if I have to say.
All right.
You know, uh, trying to go back to where it stopped. But very fast, you realize that, okay, that's not it. This is a new topography, and you have to learn how to move in it, including your approach to music or any creative process for that matter. So you start to think, okay, why am I making music now? And the thing is, I'm making music because I simply can't live without it. It's that simple.
That's simple.
I might not make music, and this is very, I mean, I'm used. I have been so long in the game that I understood very early that it all goes on in cycles.
Mm-hmm.
You have a period where you get the attention and people, and then you go into total. Uh, you, you become forgotten, and then some people, they really lose it when they end up in that place. Uh, but if you wait for your time, the clock passes again on that same spot.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes back, do your best and be ready that you will go into a forgotten place again. And that's why thinking like that, it made me realize that I don't need to follow any trends in my music. I never did anyway. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I keep doing my thing. It's the same thing. It's the same process with the same philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes and it goes. It's that simple. And the music process or the creative process in itself, for me, I can be sitting here and making 2 tracks a weekend, and then I can go for months, not even opening my studio.
Right.
I come down, I open the computer, I do whatever I have to do, and then I make the radio shows. But music as music composing, I don't do that. But even when I'm not composing, I'm still making stuff with the
Right.
music. I'm still having the radio show. I'm still doing other things. So no, music is part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple. So we just do it until.
Right. And then each time you do something or compose or create or whatever projects you're working on, you basically, I like what you're saying. You're saying you always staying in the present. Like where you are right then in that moment, that's what it is. And that's what it was meant to be at that present time. And next
Absolutely.
time, whatever that present, because I think a lot of times people get caught up in processes past, who's doing what's doing what. You see a lot of banter, vinyl versus controller versus vinyl, mixer versus this. Now we got AI. That's a whole nother woo. So now we got all this other stuff. So it's like, where do you fit in, or where do producers fit in with technology as it evolves, right?
But, for me, I personally, I never played CDs. I never played MP3s. It's all what you see behind.
True.
That's what it is.
Yep.
And I spend crazy money on records.
Yeah, I know.
And that's how it is.
That's how
Now,
it is.
it's not about what you use. Thing is, if you get behind the decks, whatever the decks are, either you deliver or you don't.
Oh, say that for the people in the back. Say that again.
Either you deliver or you don't. That's it.
That's it.
The rest is literature.
That's awesome. Well, listen, let's go back. Let's go back in time for a second. So, how long have you been in this business? And who are some of the people who inspired you to even want to do this?
Oh, how long I have been in the business? 35 years nearly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the people who inspired me. Now, you got time, right?
Okay, let's see.
Now, listen, it's like this.
Okay.
I have been in a transitional process, meaning I started when I started to listen to music and understand the music.
Okay.
It was a lot of jazz, and it was a lot of soul, and it was a lot of reggae. And then from there you go into breakdancing. And I was a break dancer before I became a DJ, actually. And there is the funny.
Spit on your head on the cardboard boxes.
Oh yeah, I did, and I still carry bruises and traces. Trust me. But
Okay.
This is how funny is this. I started as a break dancer. The music. That's where I started really getting the electronic sound that came with electro at that time. During that time, Clear by Cybertron was a very a common track, Cybertron, cool. Then came the movie Beat Street. Man, I can't count how many times I skipped school to go to watch that movie. I swear, there were days I saw the movie 3 times.
Wow.
3 times.
Wow.
I go, I pay a ticket, I get out, I pay another ticket, and then I get out and then take another ticket to watch it. And then there was this scene with Double K in his room making a mixtape. And I was like, yeah, that's what I want. Wow. Now, there is a problem. To do that, you need that. You
need gear at this point. You need some equipment.
Exactly. 15, I was like 15, 16, 15. It's difficult. I mean, I come from a very modest family. My parents worked very hard to give us a good education. We were 8 siblings. Forget about it. So you start looking for the music. The most affordable one is tapes. Buying original tapes at that time of that music, no. But a lot of bootleg tapes were coming from Italy, actually.
Oh, okay.
Very affordable. And if you know what you're looking for, you will find diamonds.
Okay.
And that's how it all started.
That's how it all started.
2 tape decks, and man, if I don't know how many tape decks I used. I used to work for my father. All my money, if it wasn't going on tapes, it was going in books, because that's another madness of mine. And I can tell you funny stories about my tapes and Nabil, who I don't know how many, I don't know how many tapes he messed, because he was trying to do the same thing.
Correct.
Oh, he got some beating out.
Oh man,
because of
I have a little brother. I used to have, how back in the day you have the stack record player, the old with the receiver, the turntable. So one of my little god brothers, I had all these records, and one day he did the similar thing, and he was breaking up all my needles.
Oof.
Because he didn't know what he was doing. He down there trying to do this, but he don't know what he's doing. Oh my God, I want to kill that boy. Yeah, I know that story oh so well.
So but after a few times, I must have with my tapes that I brought with me from Tunisia to Sweden. I must have 1 or 2 of those tapes that he messed. I still have them.
Can you reproduce them? Can you put them out?
If I find them, and he, something. He was young and he was trying and he had ideas behind that. That's the thing. So I always say Nabil, he's not very productive, but when he puts his head and say, okay, I'm going to do something, it's going to be very interesting. So now during that period, I grew up a lot. Radio was my best friend.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. Are you living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, or maybe you know someone who's in the same situation? The probate process may be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. We have several nonprofit partners who have free attorneys who can assist you. Contact our office, 313-224-5990, or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. Don't lose your family property. Some of these properties have been in the family for 4 or 5 generations. Contact us now. We're here to help.
You are In My House, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.
And we used to have a guy on national radio who used to have one program called Couleur Bleu Nuit, Night Blue Color, the name of the show. And I consider this guy as our own Mojo. Because this guy was playing a lot of soul, and then when the electro funk thing came, he was there. You know, the Prince time, the time thing, the time, Timex Social Club, Club Nouveau, all those, Donna Allen, they all were there, and we were there. And we taped, and we taped, and we taped, and we listened to that show religiously. And he opened a door for me, at least, that, yeah, there is something else here. Because I always been very, the electronic sound was fascinating to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I bought Roxy Music Avalon, the album. And let me put it this way. That tape never left my Walkman for months.
Mm.
I was listening to it day and night. And I was like, what's this? You know, it's synthesizers, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but how they are doing all that.
Right.
And most of all, it's the atmosphere. Because I think Brian Eno was involved in that album. So the whole thing was, and that's why I say, in my generation in Tunisia, we don't have really a rock and roll culture. We had one rock program per week on Sunday, 10 to midnight, by the same guy. His name is Heikel Bouzouita, by the way. And we listened to it. I used to listen to it. It's not really my kind of music, actually, but every now and then you have like the Roxy Music, the Genesis, the one track that you say, I like this. You remain open-minded. We still didn't get into the fanatism of electronic music yet. It's common. And that, for my part, combined with, like most Tunisian of my time, we all watch Italian TV. And Italian TV used to have a program on Sundays called Disco Ring. Disco Ring was like all those Italo house stuff were played there. And yeah, we were fed, at least I was fed music through different channels and different mediums with different styles.
Mm-hmm.
The radio in Tunisia was very much soul, jazz, funk thing. Rock and roll, forget it.
Mm.
Never been. Yeah, every now and then you will hear the Beatles or something like that. But other than that, it is like that. It changed. Nowadays, it's a different story. But you start taking all these things and you start discovering the 88, 89. I remember Big Fun, Technotronic, Soul to Soul. There was this massive amount of music that all came at the same time.
Yep.
You have to understand Tunisia is a tourist country, and clubs during that period were really good clubs.
Okay.
And you could hear great music. And that's how you got. So for me, Detroit is Cybotron, early Cybotron, but I never connected Cybotron to Detroit at that time. You have to understand, this is like 1980.
82, 83. Yep.
83.
Yep.
So it's, no internet, nothing. I used to
Right.
go and buy magazines like in German, and you try to learn German just so that you can understand
What's
the
in the,
bloody
what's in the
magazine.
magazine? Right.
Exactly. So we do that, and another thing is Tunisia at that time, you could find magazines from all over the world.
Mm.
They come in time. If they are weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever, you find it.
Mm.
So you go and buy. and then you sit with that stuff and you, okay, what does that mean? And you have like a dictionary, and that's how passionate you get about music.
Wow.
And then with in school, so I found a couple of guys. Uh, One of them was complete nutcase, worse than me, and I mean, our discussions were like, "Hi, good morning. Did you hear that track?" And then we go, "Okay, it's this, it's that," and we keep just talking about that. So yeah, uh, after that, Depeche Mode came in, and like I started following them. I remember the first time I saw Depeche Mode, it was in the Sanremo festival. They were there on the after party type of thing. Sanremo Festival is a very big music festival in Italy, which is usually for Italian singers and musicians, but they used to have like an after party right after the festival, and then they have all these international acts, and you had like Curiosity Killed the Cat and Eurythmics and Pet Shop Boys and Depeche Mode and all that, and you sit like that, okay,
Fun times, man. Fun times.
yeah,
Musically
crazy,
was fun times.
absolutely.
And
and
not
and
stereotyped either, because we
mm,
had, so for you guys, you had that radio station who introduced you to a wide variety of music, like what
mm,
we had here in Detroit. We had Electrifying Mojo. So
mm,
that guy you had is like you guys is Electrifying
I
Mojo,
say,
because they introduced us, because had it not been for Electrifying Mojo, we would have never really had the diversity in music, because he
mm,
introduced us to Eurythmics. He introduced us to Scritti Politti and all those different names,
mm,
and people are like, who's that? And I think, and I really am glad that I grew up in the period before what we're dealing with now musically,
mm.
because what we grew up on, like you said, you heard Cybertron and then you watched Beach Street, and this guy was introducing you to all this music, and you went to these festivals and you saw Eurythmics, Depeche Mode, Pet Shop Boys, Duran Duran. It's like, what? How do you do that?
But the most interesting thing, and this is, I have been thinking about it for a very long time.
Okay.
It's like we have two. When I got to know about Mojo, I understood very fast what his impact was, because I know I had one like him in North Africa, in Little Tunisia,
Exactly.
and there was a guy in Detroit in the middle of the night.
Doing the same
They
thing.
were doing the same thing at the same time,
Yes.
and these guys don't even know each other.
Right.
And I'm standing here, I'm in the middle, and I'm the connection between these two
Cultures.
giants.
Giant. Yep. And very quiet,
Don't-
very silent. They didn't. And the one thing I like about, this is something that we can kind of touch on a little bit. The egos. Like now, everybody wants to be this big, 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 big. But just think about the impact Mojo had on us, or on us here, and your guy had on you, and they weren't
and
bragging.
others.
It was like they did what they did. Boom. And here we are,
Exactly.
40 years later, admiring because they introduced us to so much diversity and so much culture.
Something is very funny, because I have been doing radio since 91.
Okay.
And I used to have a show, actually, The Strange World of 12 Inches,
Mm-hmm.
that I have on ARP Radio out of England now, started like in 92.
Okay.
And one day I was playing, and this guy comes up to me and he tells me, every Saturday I tape your show.
Mm.
The show was like 4 hours,
Wow.
And he told me, I have all the tapes. And I was like,
Wow.
first, you take the hit and then realize that no matter what you are doing, there is always somebody listening.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why
Mm-hmm.
you have to always think about what you say,
Mm-hmm.
what you play, and what you do.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? I'm glad you brought that up because I met your brothers before I met you.
Mm.
And one day it was during movement. Motor City Wine House Gallery was having their barbecue weekend. And I was just running around with my little handheld microphone, meeting all the internationals. I want to meet as many internationals as possible, right? So I came across your brothers, and I'm just walking around. Hey, who are you? Where are you from? What's your name? Like, what's your name and where are you from? So that was my goal that night, is to what's your name and where are you from, right? So these little guys, these cool dudes, they sitting there, and I'm like, hey, what's your name? Where are you from? And I'm like, oh, I'm Nabil, I'm from Tunisia. And he said Tunisia, and I just fell apart. And I said, oh my God. I said, do you know, I didn't even know people from Tunisia listened to my show. And you look at the stats, and you got these people from Tunisia, and I look at Tunisia, I'm like, wow, my show's in Tunisia. I'm excited. And now I meet these guys, and they were like, yeah, that's us. We listen to your show. And I'm like, oh my God. That moment like you had, I had that same moment. And at that moment, that's when, no matter how frustrated about whether or not I'm going to keep the show going, it's almost as if God constantly gives me that nudge that somebody's actually listening, and you don't know who's listening. Because how did I know that I'm going to be meeting the guys from Tunisia in Detroit? And they were like, yeah, we listen to your show all the time. I was like, what? And then the relationship just, it grew. Here we are, me and you today. Then I met you years later. So you're so right, what we do. And that right there is food for thought for anybody that's doing music, producing music, or just in life in general. Because how you put yourself out there, trust me, they're not going to forget.
I always say, keep beating the drums, because there is absolutely someone listening.
Absolutely. You are right. You are so right. But Mourad, this conversation with us, I am so glad we got a chance to do this. And you guys, look him up, go to his social medias, which he does. And where can people find you? Because you've got a lot going on. You've got releases you're working on, releases coming out. I'm so glad that you pushed and found your way back to making music, and because you got a lot of history, and your music is good quality sound. Matter of fact, the In My House mix that you sent me 2 mixes. I need another one, but every time it comes on,
We'll do one.
I love. Oh my God, it's just so beautiful, and your voice. You definitely have the radio voice, that's for sure. So, how can people find you? You on SoundCloud, Beatport, Bandcamp? Where you at?
No, actually, so I left SoundCloud for
Okay.
I'm on Hear This.
Okay.
You go there, hearthis.at, and you just type The Strange World of 12 Inches, and then you will have a long archive with mixes over 300 or something.
Nice.
And the rest, we have Facebook pages, Instagram pages, but really we are. I'm not that. How should I say? Active.
Correct.
As I should, and a lot of people keep telling me, you're not doing the job there, and you know what? It's not my thing, and I'm not really the guy that will be, okay, guys, here I got a release coming, so I put it there, and you check it. Great, thank you. You don't, we cool, and
Exactly.
it keeps going, and I have. It's very funny. I remember I was playing in London with Alan Oldham.
Okay.
And in the car, we were having this discussion about playing our own music, our own production.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that I nearly never play my own music. Never. And it's because I always believe that if you make good music and you put it out there, once it's out there, people will, if it's good, people will find it, you know. But I'm not at ease playing my own music. And he looked at me, wise as he can be sometimes. And
Absolutely.
I'm talking about Alan now. Okay.
I know about Alan. Yep.
And he looked at me and he told me, Mourad, if you don't play your music, who's gonna play it for you?
Who's gonna play it? Word from the wise.
Yeah, and I was like,
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Now, that said, and hi, Alan, if you catch this, that said, I still feel that I can do it. It's for me, it's a matter of decency. Okay. And the thing is, I can promote anybody else's music by playing them, talking about them, putting them in my radio show. I mean, when I find like that track or that artist, I will try to help. And it's people usually I don't even know.
Correct.
You know, but all through my years in radio, my focus has been always small labels, unknown artists, and that's what I did all the time. And I hope that there will be people who will do the same with me as I did with others.
Correct.
I believe that that's how the scene works.
That's how it grows too.
Exactly. But as you said, the ego thing, I don't care. I'm too old for that. Honestly, I'm too old. Okay. Right. So yeah, you like my stuff, great. You don't like it, great.
Exactly.
Well, maybe one day you will find something interesting, and so on. But it is problematic because I have another friend, and he told me, but you know, Mourad, maybe you need to have CD players home. And I was like, now that's blasphemous. What are you talking about? And he told me, no. But it's just so that you play your own stuff before you release it, so that you can test it and put it in your radio show and things like that. And I thought, man, it's not gonna happen. I'm not that.
You don't need to do that.
No.
It's
I can't.
You know, why don't fix it if it ain't broken. It's been working for you all these years. And then now you got to learn it. Now you got to fool around with this different technologies, and it's taking you away from what you already know. You know, it's like, you guys, all you that want to jump on CDs, go for it. I ain't holding you up, but I'm staying. You see me? That's me right there. Yeah. That's all I need right there. That's it. I'm good.
2 turntables and the mixer.
2 turntables and the mixer, baby. Never go wrong.
And in all my years in making radio, I received mixes and tracks that are unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
You know, and people who are listening, they don't. Number one, I don't think they are even interested to tell them, oh, you know what, he did it on 2 CDs or in his laptop.
Yep.
No, as I said, end of the day, it's what comes out of the speakers.
That's right. And does it move people? That's all that matters.
Exactly.
All right, Mourad. I love you. Love you. Love you.
I love you too.
And say hello to the bros for me. One day, by the grace of God, you'll be back in Detroit hanging out with us.
Soon, I hope.
And hopefully, Lord willing, I'll get over there to you guys. You know, it's always my dream to come to Sweden. I want to go to Tunisia. I want to go to Marseille. You know, I want to go to all those beautiful places. But right now, we just gonna live in the moment and be glad that we have, you know, we're all living in the Jetsons now. Who would have thought we'd have been looking at each other on a screen? The Jetsons predicted this in our childhood, right?
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for that automatic dressing machine. You know, when she used to go in and put her arms up and she comes out dressed. I'm waiting on that to happen. But until then, I'll just, we'll show up and do our own thing. But anyway, thank you so much for taking time.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch forever. Love you guys. Appreciate you so much. And we're just gonna keep making good music, and we're gonna do what we do, right?
Absolutely.
All right, love.
Absolutely.
Before I let you go,
yes.
Words of advice to, I mean, you've given so much knowledge, but I want you to be direct. Some words of advice or words of encouragement to that new or that person thinking about producing or DJing. What would you say to those the next generation?
You know what? I had many students who I said this to many of my own students. They come to me and they find out, usually they find out about what I'm doing outside of work. And I usually tell them, why do you want to do this? If you want to do it because it's cool, you can get drunk for free and you will pick up girls, it will become easier, then don't. And if you want to take this seriously, you better find your own pace, your own sound signature, and don't try to copy anyone, because the best you can be is you and not copying somebody else. Because no matter how good the copy is, the original is always better.
That's good. That's good. All right, Mourad. Thank you, dear. And we'll be in touch. We'll keep in touch. And I truly appreciate you and love you guys. You guys, my brothers for life. We're connected now.
Yeah.
All righty, guys. This is T. Carlita for the In My House Techno Music Show. This right here was very special. And I'm just so grateful that we were able to connect. And I'm so grateful that Mourad was able to share his journey, some of his life with you today.
You are In My House, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.